Welcome to the Be the Sun, Not the Salt podcast. My name is Dr. Harry Cohen, and I'm joined by my chief super spreader, Connie Fontaine. And this is a series, How? Well, how do I practice being the sun and not the salt? This topic is how do we deliberately light other people up when that is our focus? We know we want to do it. We know we want to be positive energizers. So how do we do that? Connie?
Right. This series for us is a way to start revisiting some of the topics that people ask us about, things that we know, but we don't always do. And so we just had our first one talking about how do we start our day out right. This one is how do I start other people's day out? So let's get right into that one. I think there's ways that we can do it well. There's ways we can do it not so well. So let's talk about both.
So one of the things that I do very deliberately is when I praise someone for something that they do that I am impressed with or who they are, I give a specific example. It's so easy and so obvious. And you don't talk in generalities. You talk with an example to say, this is what I mean by that. When I go to the restaurant and I see either a server or a hostess do something wonderful, I say, I really appreciate how you did that. I love that you picked up that glass from that other table, even though I know it wasn't your table. That's the kind of small stuff that really makes a difference. I know we weren't open until 5, and I saw you come out and seat these people at a quarter to 5 and get them some water. It's just not small. It's big.
Right. It's big to everybody. And I think we have a tendency to do that as parents, young children. We spend the time, but I've heard people hesitate at work because they don't want people to think they're either sucking up to them. They don't want to think they're strange for being too sweet or so. The answer is everybody loves to hear when they're doing something well. And to your point, especially if it's very specific. I had an example this week. Someone did a presentation, someone that works with us, Kay. She did a great presentation. And when I shared with her how great I thought she did, a million people were telling her great job. I mean, in the chat, everyone's going crazy. What she did really well was a couple things. One, in her delivery, she was listening to other people's questions in the chat, but more importantly, she left everybody with something specific that they could do that was relevant to anybody. That lit her up more than anything because she knew what she did well. And it lit me up because I loved, watching her do something really fantastic and giving her credit for that.
Same. I hosted a fundraiser for a politician earlier this week. And I went up to that politician and said, here's why your stump speech was great. Now, I've given him feedback before, but with specificity, I said, you didn't just give the platitudes. You had a very specific, concrete example of how you did it. It was great. And then I had another example of the more specific you were with the story you told was great. So I'm just reiterating this. When I praise people, do it not for their ego or not to just make them feel good, because they will, but it's this is why you were great so that they can know and do more of it. It's I can do that. So it's a really easy and good way to remember how we can be heliotropic and light people up.
With some of our guests, we've heard different stories like that. Like I love Mindy Holman. In that episode, she talked about something that happened to her a long time ago, but it still reflects back on it so positively. She was in an airport wearing a beautiful red coat. She didn't think anything of it. And someone gave her a beautiful compliment about how she looked in that coat. She felt great. She still feels great when she talks about it. But more importantly, she uses that as a reason to compliment other people. She learned from that. Trinae Gonzar, she lit somebody up in a store. She realized somebody was having a tough day. So I think back to our episodes and we hear that not just they felt good, but how they made other people feel good too.
And it's this deliberate intention to make other people feel good that is the most important. So the tiniest ways that we can point out when people are doing something or being great in some form or fashion, tell them and do it briefly. Don't go on and on and on. Right. Give them 1 or 2 examples and then we're done. They'll know that you're not doing it to buff their ego. They'll know that you mean it and they'll feel great and you'll feel great. And anybody witnessing it will feel great too. Keep it short.
Have you ever seen people do that and it comes across really inauthentically though? Because I think that's the caution is do it when it's right. Do it in a way that works for you and that other person. I think listen, know who that person is, or at least what you know about them. Make sure that feels really good instead of just platitudes, to your
And
point.
that point is, like, how do you do this? Well, you're authentic. Any techniques to be authentic? Yeah,
Mhm.
be authentic. If
Right.
something isn't real, then don't say it for you. If your motive is clear and clean, you just want them to
Mhm.
know they did a great job. Tell them. When somebody tells me, usually it's about their boss, that their boss was great. I say, did you tell him
Tell
or
them,
her?
right?
And, "Oh, no,
I
no.
don't wanna
I
suck up, yeah.
never suck up. I don't want 'em to think that I'm sucking up."
Right.
I always remind them, "Dude, they gotta know you're not sucking up. Keep it brief. Tell them that they did a good job with explicit specificity,
Mhm.
and everybody wins." It's a good
Right.
practice for all of us to constantly look for ways to do that more effectively.
That's right. I mean, if you're looking somebody in the eye, you're using specificity, you're focused on them and not on who's behind them, who's around. Just that'll feel authentic and that'll feel really good to both of you.
And don't talk about yourself.
And don't think, yeah, just like I do. Yeah, I do that really well too. Yeah, that wouldn't work very well.
So keep it short, keep it simple, keep it real, but be deliberate. When you listen to this, you go, I already do that. Great, do it some more. And if you're reminded from this to go, I'm going to go tell that person something that I've been thinking about that they do that's real. Great. That just do it in that simplest
Right.
way, and drop us a line, let us know. I did that from listening to you. Great.
Right.
It's simple.
We'd love to hear this. Some of these are going to be big ones. Some are small. And if you be inspired today, I think I'm already in my head going, okay, wait, who am I going to meet with today? Where am I going to go? How am I going to make an impact in the world today?
In fact, we have a meeting right after this, and I didn't respond to the email that was here's a summary of what we're going to be talking about, because I don't like to just do that in an email. I like to say it in person, and I will. I am going to tell her she did a fabulous job in the summary that she presented, and I know how to do that, and I'll be brief and explicit, and she'll feel great.
That's right. So let us know how you were inspired today. I would love to hear something back. Let's learn together. Let's keep practicing this together. And if you ever want to reach out, podcast at bethesunnotthesalt.com is an easy way to catch us or reach out on social media, but we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.